The desert valleys and the mountainous region of northwestern Mexico were unfamiliar territory. Here, the vulnerability of life is magnified, exposed through the unpredictable extremes of nature. Inside this realm, water is life. Many centuries ago, an expansive terraced system of rock walls was planned and constructed by native peoples. While many of these weathered walls have decayed and are nearly impossible to locate, equal numbers remain upright and intact, still fulfilling their intended purpose: the preservation of seasonal rainfall, the harvest of water.
Not uncommon to get 10 to 20% of your annual rainfall in 45 minutes. When this happens, you get a tremendous amount of flooding, and none of that moisture actually gets into the ground, or very little of that moisture gets in the ground. It just flows off, and it takes with it a lot of topsoil, seeds, etc. What we're trying to do here is to slow that down and to reverse the process, to get that water to actually go into the ground.
Like a scene played upon the landscape of ancient Mexico, the harvest of water is depicted once again. The Austins have employed groups of rock workers, some of whom share kinship with past generations of stone workers.
We were very fortunate to come across some workers from the state of Guanajuato, and they have a long tradition of working with rock.
To some of the men, the work is merely a job. But to the Gonzalez brothers, it is a skill born in the spirit of their forefathers.
Pues allá nosotros, la mayoría del trabajo que aprendimos, diremos, desde pequeños, pues lo aprendimos de nuestros abuelos, de nuestros padres. En cuestión a las trincheras, pues ellos nos han platicado la historia desde algún trabajo, nos han platicado la historia desde qué año se comenzó y todo. Mis abuelos, ellos tienen pues recuerdos en cuestión de estos trabajos que ahora estamos ejercitando aquí, diremos. Y estos trabajos, pues aquí parece que hemos visto en los que ya se hicieron con tiempo, que se va haciendo bastante recuperación de tierra.
En la zona donde nosotros vivimos también hay partes donde la gente ha tenido esta clase de trabajo, ya ha tenido que por 100 años o más estas trincheras, y de allí obtienen su cosecha, su comida, y es muy importante. Entonces, y no más es que allí se termina, hay que seguir adelante con ese trabajo. Cada año hay que subir en diferentes partes donde la tierra sube, hay que seguir trabajando y seguir adelante.
There is a procedure to the work. Observation of the particular slope and contour of the land and stream bed is paramount in the design of the structure.
For a loose rock structure, you have to have a good base. If you don't have a good base, it will actually collapse into the dirt or into the sand. What you would like is something to tie it into on each side, so it won't flow around the side. You want to have the structure so the lowest point is somewhere in the middle.
The shape and the size of each stone determine its final position. Many such considerations are essential to ensure the stability and longevity of a trinchera.
You know, we were very lucky where we started putting these loose rock structures here at El Coronado. You know, I put in 1 or 2 to protect a road. After we put it in that area, I noticed that the grass was greener on both sides of this. It was almost like a retention wall. And I thought, well, if it works here, you know, let's put in a few more of them. So I put in a few more, and I got instant results, you know, where I put them. And 2 more led to 3 more. So we had 5. And it just builds. You know, after 20 years, we have 20,000 of these loose rock structures.
Soot, dirt, and moss accumulate along the banks of the stream. Sunlight brews the water, soil, and enzymes, and slowly organic life evolves atop the bedrock. Grasses flourish over and about the streamside, and the collection of sediment is perpetuated. The measure of life is increased. The seasons pass the fine line amid drought or deluge. The effects that carefully placed trincheras have had on the watershed are considerable, if not astonishing.
We have washes that used to flood 3 or 4 times a year that were just bare rock washes that now are washes that are grassed over. They have flowing water in them maybe 10, 11 months a year. This has gone from a rocky, dry wash that occasionally floods into riparian mecca for wildlife.
The most important thing I've seen is it slows down the water. It gives it a porous medium into which it infiltrates while it's flowing down the river, and slows down the water significantly so it won't erode the surrounding environment. It's really made the valley into quite a picturesque little mountainous area.
What we're doing up here really helps the rancher below us more than it helps us. I wish I had somebody above me doing the same thing that I'm doing.
The goal of the San Bernardino Preservation Project is to re-elevate the water table by reducing the extensive erosion which has virtually swept the life away from this historic desert oasis.